Well, here's the thing. If you're not getting my humor, that's actually my fault. Yeah. You see, I didn't explain how comedy works. So I'm just going to give you a quick rundown. And again, this isn't for most of you. You're doing great. There's just a couple of pockets. All right, so how a joke works is I take an idea, and then I go and I take another idea, and then I bring them together. And then when they come together, that's the funny part. But the only thing is, you gotta do the math. So you gotta be able to go into your own head and then figure out why the other people are laughing. All right, well, let's see if you can follow this one. So I got a neighbor that's colorblind, and he is surprisingly racist. You guys get it? It's because he doesn't see color. That's the part that's weird. That he would harbor hatred in his heart. I hate that guy, man. The other day, I went over to his house. I was like, listen, man, it's not cool to be racist. He was like, get your black ass off my porch. I was like, shit.
I don't know what to do. I've asked people, what should we do? And I had a friend of mine say, well, you just have to be a decent person, treat other people with respect, and live your life with purpose and meaning. And then I'm like, no, fuck. What gives my life meaning? Well, I guess errands, errands. Like if I got a few good errands a day, I'm pretty good with the purpose and meaning. Some people are boycotting Target, they're boycotting Tesla, they're boycotting Amazon. Yeah, good luck with that one. Try to run an errand if you're boycotting Amazon. Out there in the brick and mortar world, that could take weeks. You might have to go all the way to China for your air fryer. I was out there in that world and I decided to go out and buy a vacuum, with purpose and meaning. I bought one and I brought it home and I just, right on the side of it, I etched, "This vacuum kills fascists." So I'm doing my part.
The legend lives on from the Chippewa down the big lake they call Gitchigumi. The lake, it is said, never gives up her dead when the skies of November turn gloomy. With a load of iron ore 26,000 tons more than the Edmund Fitzgerald weighed empty, that good ship and true was a bone to be chewed when the gales of November came early. The ship was the pride of the American side, coming back from some mill in Wisconsin, as the bigger than most, with a crew and good captain well seasoned, concluding some terms with a couple of steel firms when they left fully loaded for Cleveland. And later that night when the ship's bell rang, could it be the north wind they'd been feeling? The wind in the wires made a tattletale sound, and a wave broke over the railing, and every man knew, as the captain did too, 'twas the witch of November come stealing. The dawn came late and the breakfast had to wait, when the gales of November came slashing. When afternoon came, it was freezing rain in the face of a hurricane west wind. When supper time came, the old cook came on deck saying, "Fellas, it's too rough to feed ya." At 7 p.m. a main hatchway caved in. He said, "Fellas, it's been good to know ya." The captain wired in, he had water coming in, and the good ship and crew was in peril. And later that night, when his lights went out of sight, came the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. Does anyone know where the love of God goes when the waves turn the minutes to hours? The searchers all say they'd have made Whitefish Bay if they'd put 15 more miles behind her. They might have split up, or they might have capsized. They may have broke deep and took water, and all that remains are the faces and the names of the wives and the sons and the daughters. Lake Huron rolls, Superior sings in the rooms of her ice water mansion. Old Michigan steams like a young man's dreams. The islands in bay are for sportsmen. And further below, Lake Ontario takes in what Lake Erie can send her. And the iron boats go, as the mariners all know, with the gales of November remembered. In a musty old hall in Detroit, they prayed in the maritime sailors' cathedral. The church bell chimed till it rang 29 times for each man on the Edmund Fitzgerald. The legend lives on from the Chippewa on down of the big lake they call Gitchigumi. Superior, they said, never gives up her dead when the gales of November come early.
That was probably one of the best covers of that song I have heard in a very long time.
That was a very beautiful song.
The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, Gordon Lightfoot. I mean, I will always love his original cover. I mean, it's his song. But that I have to say, that
Our
was
rendition was beautifully done.
excellent. Yeah. Excellent rendition. So it just, the mood of the song, everything, it was just, you know, she captured the essence of that song just beautifully. So that's Christine's music. You can find her on TikTok and probably any app. Instagram especially, Facebook probably, even though maybe not, because as we know, Facebook is the boomer app. Who's still on Facebook anyway? I mean, present company excluded, of course. Oh, good morning, evening, or afternoon, depending on what part of the globe you're on, what time zone you're in. I am Skeptically Speaking.
And I am Sweet Pea from across the pond who feels attacked.
Yeah. Nice of you to drop by.
You're welcome. I was wanting to know what ice capades that we would be up to today.
That's going to be bourbon today. Normally I chill with a glass of my favorite Gatorade, but I'm out. So I have to settle for bourbon. I know. Boo-hoo. Poor me.
It could be worse.
Yeah. I could be an ICE agent now.
Yeah. And you couldn't have ice to go in your bourbon. But you have ice to go in your bourbon, so it's not all that bad.
Yes, thankfully my ice balls are still good. They're turning out. Well, you found us on YouTube, but you can also find us on TikTok, Blue Sky, Discord, Instagram, Threads, Facebook, Kick, Rumble, Twitch, Twitter, and Substack. Yes, we're also on Substack. Thank you for asking. If you want more independent media in your life, we would love to be a part of that. Please consider supporting the show, Cash App, Venmo, or Patreon. Become a Patreon subscriber. Links will be in the description. Please like, comment, share the video. Please subscribe. We'd love to have you. Oh, what shenanigans has ICE been getting up to? Well, without going into specifics, because turns out that a lot of these ICE agents, quite a few of them, turns out many of them would not pass a litmus test. They would not be able to get into an actual law enforcement agency. They would not pass a background check, and some of them wouldn't pass a drug test. Yes.
So would it be safe to say that some of these tests could be considered de-icer?
Yeah. Yeah, you could say that. You know what? We'll go with that. I just, we laugh to not cry when we're talking about this, because these fucking douche canoes. One guy gets arrested for a DUI. He's literally, I mean, they think they're above the law, first of all. This is the problem with ICE, is they have it twisted to where they think that nothing's going to happen to them. They can treat people as badly as they want to, and they can brutalize American citizens or even migrants or asylum seekers or what have you. They can be as brutal as they want, and nothing's going to touch them. They are under the delusion that they are untouchable. Well, first of all, fuck you, no. That's not going to happen. You are not untouchable. You will be held accountable at some point. So, I, for one, cannot wait for that to happen. Yeah, so I guess let's just dive right into it. And then right after we cover this story, we're going to go right into Chaos Land. It's basically just, we're going to be doing random topics and not in any particular order. So that's just the kind of show that we're going to have today. It's going to be a little chaotic. Well, so apparently, ICE Barbie, DHS trained criminals to be agents. Christy Nome, dog killer. She shot a dog and another animal. The dog she shot right in the face. Boom. Because she wanted it to be a hunting dog and it didn't want to hunt. So she, instead of giving the dog up for adoption or giving it away, she decides to shoot it. She is a complete and utter psychopath, a cunt of a human being, and we're not going to be politically correct. On the show, we are going to be very, very blatant. Immigration and Customs Enforcement has allowed some recruits who haven't been fully vetted into its training program as it tries to boost hires. They are so desperate that they're hiring criminals. Department of Homeland Security outfit later found out that recruits in training had either failed drug tests, had criminal histories preventing them from joining, or didn't meet physical fitness or academic criteria. I would probably have failed the academic tests, so I'm not going to throw stones in glass houses. However, goddamn, let's see, drug, criminal, physical, and academic. So you've got 4-time failures staffing the Department of Homeland Security, ICE. One recruit at the ICE training facility in Brunswick, Georgia, the current DHS official said had been charged with strong arm robbery and battery over a domestic violence incident. These people, this is why they act like they do. This is why they act like a bunch of thugs when they're dealing with members of the public, people of the community. This is why they will drag people out of their cars, brutalize people when they feel that they're in superior numbers, of course. When a whole crowd gathers, oh, well, they kind of back off a little bit because they're cowards, they're scum, they're bullies. And this is why their faces are all covered, is because a lot of these people, if you were to do reverse image searches, you'd find arrest warrants and arrest records on these people. ICE vetting and drug test policies, the former official said, had not been adhered to as strictly as it was before the agency sought to increase its staffing. I wonder why. And please, P, just interrupt if you have a thought. I'm just reading this article, so just jump in. If I hear you jump in, I'll just shut up and let you talk. So I'm just going to continue on.
Okay.
DHS pinned a post on X from July 29th, a plea to join ICE. They are desperate, which was a major beneficiary of the GOP budget legislation that Donald Trump signed into law this summer. The bill increased funding from $10 billion to over $100 billion in 2029, or by 2029, in part to help hire 10,000 new officers by next year. In all, more than 200 recruits have been dismissed since the summer hiring surge, but according to internal ICE data obtained by NBC News, less than 10 were shown the door for criminal charges, drug tests, or safety concerns. The vast majority couldn't meet physical or academic metrics. There is absolutely concern that some people are slipping through the cracks. The current DHS official told NBC News, my God, when a DHS official is coming to a NBC, because remember, NBC News is fake news, according to Trump. So the fact that they're being this honest tells me the problem is a lot worse than they're letting on. The recruits themselves have been the ones to admit that they didn't go through the fingerprinting or drug testing. What about the ones who don't admit it? The official questioned. In a statement to NBC News, the DHS disputed the report. Well, yeah, of course they're going to dispute the report. The figures you reference are not accurate and reflect a subset of candidates in initial... Yeah, okay. Like, we trust anything coming out of the Trump administration. I almost want to play the... No, you know what? I was going to play the video that is connected with this article.
Considering how corrupt the Trump and his administration are we really surprised that he's hiring criminals and other corrupt people to be in ICE? Like, I'm not surprised.
I've said this. Criminality is almost a prerequisite. It's almost a requirement.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they can't trust you any other way. If you're an honest individual, you're not going to be beneficial to this criminal enterprise, also known as the Trump administration.
Yeah.
That's just it. They have no use for you if you're honest and trustworthy. The vast majority of new officers brought on during the hiring surge are experiencing law enforcement officers who have already successfully completed law enforcement academy. This population is expected to account for greater than 85% of new hires. Woo! 85% of new hires. Yay! What about the other 15%? Oh, fuck off. I'm not reading another word this guy says. When reached for comment by the Daily Beast, a senior DHS official did not directly address recruits vetting, or lack thereof, but rather how recruits would be trained at federal law enforcement training centers. FLETC is prepared to accommodate 11,000 new hires by the beginning of next year, the official said. ICE continuously evaluates and modernizes its training program and curriculum. We have streamlined training to cut redundancy. We've streamlined training and incorporated technology advancements, basically tracking. I want to emphasize this streamlining training because we know that training for police officers is literally the bare minimum. What is it? It's like weeks or a few, or maybe a month of training. That's it. I don't even think it's a full month. And then they put you right on the street and you're expected to understand and know the law and enforce the law equitably. No subject matter has been cut, the official added. Candidates still learn the same elements and meet the same high standards ICE has always required. No, you haven't. That's bullshit. Who is taking this seriously? Not a goddamn one. I'm not. I ain't the one.
All right. It takes 2 or 3 years to actually train up to be a police officer.
Where?
They've got to go to a
what country?
police constable degree apprenticeship. Oh, we'll do that right. So maybe this might be the UK, but I will put in the US now.
Oh, that's no. Continue with the UK. I want to learn more.
Okay. So training to be a police officer in the UK will take up to 2 to 3 years, depending on the entry role. The Police Constable Entry Programme, PCEP, is a 2-year route combination classroom learning and on-the-job training.
That sounds like college.
Constable, Constable degree apprenticeship. PCDA is a 3-year program that includes a full funded degree. Other routes like degree holder entry programs, DHEP, are also 2-year programs that result in a graduation diploma.
Jesus Christ. That is not the US. I'll tell you that right now.
So Police constable entry programs. This is a common entry route when you are a police officer from day one, which includes 18 to 22 weeks of classroom training, followed by on-the-job training and street duties for the remaining 2 years. Degree holder entry program. DHEP. This route is for individuals who already have a degree and leads to a graduate diploma in professional policing practice after 2 years. A 3-year training route, police constable degree apprenticeship. This is a 3-year program where you work and study for a degree at the same time. The training is a mix of classroom-based and on-the-job learning and will typically earn a degree and a professional qualification upon completion. So, do you want me to skip over to the US one?
Yeah, now let's do the US. I'm going to make a prediction, less than 4 weeks. Because, I imagine how much better, and keep in mind, a 3-year study to be a police in the UK, to be a policeman. Imagine the tactics that you're taught, not just how to beat someone into the ground, but how to de-escalate. I guarantee you're taught some psychology, how to deal with mental illness. Would not surprise me. Okay, go ahead.
In the United States, certification and licensure requirements for law enforcement officers vary significantly from state to state. Policing in the United States is highly fragmented, and there's no national minimum standard for licensing police officers in the US. Researchers say police are given far more training on use of firearms than on de-escalating provocative situations.
Yep.
On average, US officers spend around 21 weeks training before they are qualified to go on patrol, which is far less in most other developed countries.
Yeah, no shit. So
21 weeks.
21 weeks.
21 weeks.
Okay, so I was way off. So it's literally 4 months, maybe less.
Yeah.
Do I have that right? Okay, maybe 5 or 6 months. Yeah. I'm tired. Yeah. I have that excuse. Okay, but yeah, that's woefully. That's I don't even think that's 6 months of. Yeah, 6 months would be 24. That would be like 24, 25 weeks, depending on how many weeks are in a month.
Yeah. The agency has established standards for police officers' selection, training, licensure, certification, and suspension. And decertification is called the Police Officer Standards and Training Commission in 15 states as of 2024, including California, Arizona, and Nevada. In other states, the certification body goes by a different name, such as Georgia Peace Officer Standards and Training Council, Kentucky Law Enforcement Council, Massachusetts, Manipsa. I can never say that word.
It's okay. Is it a state?
Municipal Training Council.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, there is no standard, and that's part of the problem. There is no set standard state by state, and there needs to be. There needs to be a federal oversight. There needs to be federal oversight, number one. Number two, it needs to be standardized across all 50 states. That's it. Case closed, done. And this is just beyond ridiculous that we're having this conversation. We're having this conversation 2025. We're supposed to be one of the most developed countries, the most advanced, the richest, blah, 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 the greatest, whatever. And here we are, fragmented.
Yeah.
We are
So
probably the
it is
most
as you,
divided. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So the US training program for the police academy is 6 months college course.
6 months, yeah, okay.
So 2/3 of the academy is academics, and 1/3 of the academy is physical training.
Physical training and how to use all the fancy
spend 3
toys
months.
and the latest gadgets.
So you literally spend probably 2-3 months learning how to be a police officer, learning some of the laws and stuff, and then they stick you straight in to weapon training after only 3 months, and then they stick you on the job. That's unfathomable. That's unfathomable to me. That's
Yeah, it's a nightmare, and we let this happen. And this is what we're dealing with. We're not holding our police officers accountable. Anytime a police officer decides to go on a rampage, it's the taxpayers who pay, and the officer gets desk duty for X amount of time. These ICE motherfuckers are getting even less training than that.
Do you know what that is comparable? That is like learning to ride a moped. You spend 6 months learning to ride a moped, and then you jump straight onto a 1000cc bike and wonder why you end up getting hurt.
Yeah.
Oof, my brain
and
is
the
gone.
media is complicit about this. I'm going to read 2 headlines to you.
Okay.
This is to do with brutality of the Department of Homeland Security. I want you to read 2 headlines, and I want you to tell me which one is closer to telling you the actual facts. This is the BBC. Here's the headline. TikTok creator and U.S. Marshal shot during LA immigration raid. That's one headline. The second one is ICE agent shoots U.S. Marshal and immigrant during traffic stop. Of the 2 that I just read, one is from the BBC and the other one is Boing Boing. Which one is more honest in its title?
I want to say the second one, but my gut feeling is saying that the BBC is the first one because
Nope.
the BBC.
You were correct the first time.
It's the first one.
No, it's the second one.
The second one.
ICE agent shoots
one, yeah.
U.S. Marshal and immigrant during traffic stop. The BBC said this. TikTok creator and U.S. Marshal shot during L.A. immigration raid. That's kind of ambiguous. That's like, well, who did the shooting? Well, we don't know. It's like they're literally wiping out. It was an ICE agent that did the shooting. And they completely cut it out of the they just cut it out of the header. So people who look at headlines and they don't read articles, they're like, oh, well, my goodness, probably a bystander got a little too antsy. A TikTok creator and U.S. Marshal were both injured by gunfire during an immigration enforcement operation. The Department of Homeland Security said Carlitos Ricardo Parias, who they said was in the U.S. illegally, allegedly rammed law enforcement vehicles with his car while trying to flee an immigration arrest. No, that was a complete lie. Go ahead.
So I found this new thing. The United States, it takes an average of about 18 to 21 weeks to complete police officer training in the United States. However, many people do pursue a police science association degree, which takes about 2 years. Others might attend a police academy that takes about 18 months, and newly trained officers still spend at least 6 months shadowing a more experienced police partner. Still, a report has indicated that the US has had 8,000 plus killings, or is that? Yeah, I'm just going to say 8,000 plus killings. But this doesn't mean all police brutality cases. This reported data also didn't indicate whether it was the police who were shot or the civilians who were shot. However, it does relate to how the US, like 10 other developing countries, have the highest number of gun ownership and the most reported gun violence. On the other hand, Norway has also made the top 10 list of most owned guns in the nation. So more guns don't necessarily mean more violence. Other reports about the US, which seems in high contrast to what it said about other countries.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going to call
Still
bullshit
total.
on that.
Yeah, still total about 946 police shootings and killings for 2020.
The amount of guns on the street is directly correlated to how many gun, incidences we have. The higher the gun ownership rate, the higher the incidences.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to take this world population review with a grain of salt.
Yeah, I mean, at least they're honest about how little training American police officers get. Anyway, back to this one.
Yeah.
Mr. Parias, who routinely documents immigration enforcement operations in the Los Angeles area on social media, was charged with assault of a federal officer. Mr. Parias, 44-year-old Mexican national, has documented immigration and custom enforcement activity in South Los Angeles for months. He has previously been recognized by a city councilman for his commitment to keeping his community informed, empowered, and protected. Well, ICE doesn't like that, now do they? He was scheduled to appear in court on Wednesday, but his hearing has been postponed, blah, 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 blah. I'm just reading the BBC. DHS spokesman said the incident showed the consequence of conduct and rhetoric by sanctuary. Oh, okay, I don't care what she says. She claimed law enforcement were facing more than 1,000 increase in threats against. You know what? I don't care about that either. In a statement, the U.S. Attorney's Office said Mr. Price was the subject of an administrative and immigration arrest warrant and had avoided capture before. Yeah, like I believe that. Agents saw Price leave home in a gray Toyota Camry and drive. Oh, okay. So they're basically tailing him and they're basically surveilling him. That's what they're doing. Law enforcement officers used their vehicles to box in his car, hoping to prevent him from escaping. The U.S. Attorney's Office said that, so they were the instigators. The federal agents then approached the Camry and gave Mr. Price orders to exit the car and submit to arrest. Mr. Price ignored these commands and drove the Camry both forward and back, hitting two of the law enforcement vehicles. He spun the Camry's tires, which spewed smoke and debris into the air that struck some of the agents. Oh, that's terrible. And led the car to Fishtail. Agents, worried for their safety, broke the driver's side window to subdue Mr. Parias. The vehicle is a deadly... Yeah, okay, I don't give a fuck. Go to hell. L.A. Councilman Price said he was deeply saddened by the incident and stood in solidarity with Mr. Parias and his family. Richard is a pillar of our community, a fearless citizen journalist whose authentic storytelling has consistently uplifted. Stop. Why do you have to say storytelling? It's not storytelling. He's literally reporting. God, these backhanded compliments. Fuck. ICE raids have increased as part of the Trump administration crackdown, blah, 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 blah. Southern California is home to an estimated 1.4 undocumented immigrants, many of whom have been forced into hiding. Yeah. Immigration raids. Okay, enough of this BBC bullshit. Now, let's go to the Boing Boing. I mean, just the name of Boing Boing makes me not want to take this seriously. However, reading the article instead of just the headline and the source, an ICE agent smashed a car window during a traffic stop, then shot both the occupant of the vehicle and the U.S. Marshal. This was not covered in the BBC article. The fuck? Both were injured. The man was named as TikTok star, who is reportedly an undocumented immigrant. Both were hospitalized. While in the area, federal agents surrounded and boxed the man, identified acting U.S. Attorney Bill blah, 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 as Carlitos Ricardo Parias, or Richard L.A. So they literally open fired. Then the marshal was reportedly shot in the finger while the TikToker was shot in the left arm. So these motherfucking stupid ass trigger happy fuckwits literally were shooting while a U.S. Marshal was attempting to make an arrest. The official with the U.S. Marshal Service is in stable condition. The angry ineptitude of these fast-hired ICE goons is already a big problem. Finally, a refreshingly honest article. In case after case after case, they're screwing up and lying about it. A part of the problem is media's reluctance to appear adversarial to authorities or even skeptical of what they're told by them. My fucking God, that is journalism 101. Journalism 101. Why are you not skeptical of what you were told by authorities? What the fuck, you cowardly fucking pussy. You know what? No. You're a bunch of penis scrotums is what you are. You're a bunch of delicate, weak scrotums. You can't even call it what it is. Because you're afraid of what? Offending? Let's see. A part of the reluctance in this story, a few outlets even headlined the fact that the shooter was the ICE agent. Yeah, few outlets. That's the problem. The shooter was an ICE agent, a trigger-happy fuckwit working for the Department of Homeland Security. Not only put they put two people's lives at risk. Because they're a bunch of trigger-happy fucking stupid idiots. Start calling it what it is. I mean, yeah, the way they worded it, there is no dispute or ambiguity about this fact at all, but vagueness prevails. Most are content to let readers think that the illegal alien may have shot the marshal. Reading the BBC article, you don't get the idea. You don't get the idea that, oh, it was the ICE agent doing the shooting. No. You think, oh, a bystander or maybe the person that they were trying to arrest. Here's an example. The Independent, again. TikTok star Richard L.A. hit by bullet during ICE operation in L.A. that also left U.S. Marshal injured. A bullet by whom? You're not telling the story. Oh my God. I wouldn't have. Boing Boing might be a source to go to. A horrible name, but okay. If no one else is ready to do it, if no one else is willing to be honest, Jesus Christ. Sorry, I'm just on a fucking rant. Anything you want to add?
No.
Okay.
I think you covered everything, and yeah, I was going to try and eat, but a couple of times I nearly choked on the sausage. So there's nothing I want to add.
No. I mean, if you got something to say, just interrupt me. I'm okay with that. Here's the thing. We need to be so fucking honest. We need to start. I mean, we're at the point they're arresting journalists, they're arresting professors, They're arresting anybody who
And they
stands up
shouldn't
to
be-
them. This is why we need crowds. They back
Yep.
down when it's large crowds. But if you're by yourself, they go after the least common denominator. They go after the path of least resistance. They will go for the weakest link. Stay together, people.
Mhm.
I don't know if this is wishful thinking, but I've got a video about these people maybe facing justice, but go ahead.
Well, I really do hope that they face justice. I'm waiting for enough sort of people to grow a spine to enact Article 25.
A dream. A dream is what it is.
It would. Mhm. It needs to be done now. He needs to be taken out.
But the
He
problem
needs to be
still
gone out of the
persists.
White House.
If you take Trump out of the White House using Article 25, I mean, you've still got a huge percentage of this country who is A-okay with what's been happening. All right,
Yeah.
let's watch this video, and I want
Okay.
your thoughts at the end of it.
All of those ICE agents are going to be unemployable. They're Nazis. They're going to be unemployable. That stink is going to be on their kids and their kids' kids.
Right.
You are part of the American Nazi movement, and you're done. You're cooked. So I hope that they're saving their money. I hope that, all of that ridiculous, that we're paying ICE agents more than we're paying teachers. I hope they are saving it, because they are screwed on the other side of this. And I will personally ensure that they are screwed, because any of them that I can know about, I'll make the phone calls. I'll write the postcards.
sure.
I'm a long letter person.
Yeah, and that little 5K or 25K, whatever it is, fucking signing bonus, you're never going to see a dime of that. Because first of all, it's after 1 year of employment, and then the amount is prorated out over 3 or 5 years. So it amounts to fucking nothing. You fucking goons. I can't wait to see you fucking standing in line at the fucking food bank begging for crumbs, you fucks.
You know what's amazing to me is how desperate these people are. If what was just said is true, that they're not getting the money up front, the 50,000 or whatever the sign up bonus was, it's getting stretched. If you can last 5 years, can you imagine doing this for 5 years? A lot of these people, quite a few of them don't even last a year. Especially, in 2025, especially with all of the ICE raids that have gone on, it's just ramped up to an up-teen zenith. It's just astronomical what they're doing. And even their loved ones, their significant others are like, you know what? This is not what I thought you'd be signing up for. And they're getting pressure at home, which is good. And I hope the divorce rate goes way up if any of them are married. Some of these assholes, can you imagine watching a relative of yours perform this heinously? You literally, you're watching a relative of yours brutalize these people, just acting like a complete and absolute cunt. Can you imagine? I am curious to know what Thanksgiving dinner is going to be like for some of these people. Are they going to be even invited back home?
I should imagine that they would get a frosty reception.
Iced out of the family, maybe?
Mm-hmm. Completely frozen out.
Good. I hope their Christmas is just as miserable.
Yeah.
I mean, this is
what
just
they're doing to other families.
This is absolute barbarity, what they're doing. And this is just a few instances. They literally took a journalist, pushed her face down on the ground, and cuffed her just for doing her job covering their criminal acts. Now, I'm not so naive as to think, oh yeah, because what happened to all the Nazis, the American Nazis of the 1940s? Were any of them held accountable? Did any of them lose their jobs? Did any of them get repercussions? No, it was swept under the rug. Everyone wanted to forget about it.
Yeah, there wasn't repercussions from that for quite a few generations.
Our attention spans are so short. I don't think there's going to be any significant. There's not going to be consequences. I don't think. As much as I want them to be, I would love for there to be consequences. I don't think they're going to experience it. I just don't see it. Somebody in the comments, tell me if I'm wrong. But yeah, welcome to the criminal enterprise known as ICE. Good going. We should be so proud. We're going to change the subject now. After that bit of shite. All right. We're going to move on to the chaos section. We're going to do as many videos as we can in the remaining time that we have, but here we go.
But most of MAGA has not committed treason. This is not what we're talking about. It does not work to punish people when they come out of cults. It has never worked. They will punish themselves once they open their eyes and realize what.
You know, these bitches are insufferable. And if you're wondering why I've got time for this, it's because I understand the absolute need for propaganda in fascism. And the propaganda, that's what makes it stick. The takeover, that's quick and easy. Everybody's high on emotions. Raw, we won. But now you got to convince people to live in their own discomfort while their leaders live golden lives. I got time for this shit. Now, before I get started, let me say this. If something fucking happens to me, I didn't do it to myself and burn this motherfucker down. My people, if anyone is willing to accept this type of shit.
Just to interject here, this woman was targeted by a bunch of white supremacists on TikTok because she dared to stand up for another black woman who was being targeted by a digital lynch mob. And her job, she worked in healthcare, fired her because these mongrels put together a edited video that painted her in a bad light, made her saying things that she did not say. And instead of them doing their due diligence, her job fired her. So now she's trying to raise money to get justice from her place of work. Black women are being fired at record rates in this country right now.
Yeah. Isn't the one that targeted her and the other woman, isn't he a convicted pedo?
Yes, he is. I don't remember his name off. I think I've blocked him on TikTok. But yeah, he's a convicted child molester. Literally led the charge against her because she dared to speak out and defend another black woman who is being targeted by these fucking white supremacists on TikTok. Fuck them all.
Agreed.
And so, you know what? That reminds me. I'm going to put her Give Send Go link in the description, so that way, if anybody under the sound of my voice, give to her, give, send, go, please. Okay? Vitally important. We need to make sure that we support her in her time of need.
Yes. And if you're not able to...
if you want to prove that you're an ally, you want to prove that you care about the black community, you get a chance to put your money where your mouth is. That goes for me too.
I think I agree. And please share her story, get it out there. The more people that know, the better it'll be for her case to be able to fight what wrongs.
Oh yeah, I have been in her comment section. I have seen these vile pieces of shit in action.
Me too.
I've seen what they do, what they're capable of. These people are vile sons of bitches. Every single last mother's son of them. They don't deserve any sympathy. They don't deserve any quarter.
Nope.
What they are doing, participating in the white supremacy. So these are the same people that would be gathered around a lynching, a strange fruit, lynching, and taking pictures and sending pictures of themselves in postcards. They used to do that. They used to have pictures of themselves at a lynching, and they would send them to relatives. That is how sick these people are. And these are the same people who would do that again if it were legal to do in this country. How much have we evolved in the 120 plus years of Jim Crow?
Not much, by the sound
of it. Not much. Let's play the rest of the video.
That is in your proximity. Understand that what they are really doing is resolving to put your life in danger to move your oppressor closer to them. And for you European Americans, it's you that has to swallow it. We're the fucking food for the racist base. It's the Nazis that are going to end up being your fucking neighbors. So let's get into it. These two bimbos right here, they want you to believe that these maggots are victims. They are not victims. This is not a cult. These maggots are not being brainwashed. There's no coercion of thought. These are a bag of rabbit-ass fucking white supremacists doing what white supremacists do.
Just to give you some context, the woman you saw on the left-hand side doing the knitting, she grew up in a cult as a teenager. She grew up in a cult against her will. She was taken to places against her will. She was taken to countries to evangelize against her will. What is the excuse of these maggots, of these right-wing fundamentalist Christian nationalists? There is nobody forcing them. These are the same motherfuckers who have a smartphone in their purses, in their pockets. Okay? There's no excuse. They have information at the ready. They can access it at any time. In cults, you don't have that. You don't have the choice. All your thinking is done for you. All the information that you receive is already filtered for you. And you're told or encouraged to do whatever. You're told what to believe. Continuing.
They are not going to wake up and realize that they are wrong because this is not a cult. They need you to believe it's a cult, because if it's a cult, then what they've got to say is of some authority. When we all agree that it's not a fucking cult, then why do we give a shit about what they say anyway? Furthermore, that makes Donald Trump the ultimate bad guy, right? Take him out, remove him from office, and then the threat goes away. No. White supremacy created Donald Trump. Donald Trump did not create white supremacy. Voting Donald Trump out of office is not going to end white supremacy. It is not going to quell maggots. They will find a new leader.
I have to agree with well-read black girl. Just taking Trump out of office is not going to solve the problem, because there's still his base, his what you call it, his administration. His administration is still in office, and in order to get things done correctly, we need to vote and remove each and every single person that's in the Trump administration. We need to remove them from the White House. We need to remove them from the Senate. We need to remove them from the courts. We need to remove them from the House. We need to remove them completely.
It would be great, but here's the problem. Yeah. It doesn't solve white supremacy.
No.
It's how do we reach these fuckwits? What's the common denominator? What is the end all be? What is the one thing that reaches them? And the only thing I can come back to is personal suffering. The only way that they will ever wake up or somewhat react to their circumstances is personal suffering. White America must suffer. That is the only way this works. Because
it does.
I don't. There's no other way for There's no other way for this to change. There's no other way for these people to be reached. When it affects them, then they wake up. Then they realize, oh my God, yes, this is bad. Yeah, because it hurts you, motherfucker.
Mm-hmm. But even then, I'm sure some of them, even when it hurts them, I don't think they truly care.
Agree. Yeah, some of them.
I don't think they truly care.
It won't matter. It will not matter.
And I think those ones.
But for the majority, I think it will.
Yeah, and for the ones, I have a few suggestions for the ones that are at the point of they don't care about anything. I have a few suggestions, and they're not pretty. Because it is like the 21st century, racism should not be a part of going forward. It should have never have been in the first place. And I truly don't understand why so many people want to hold on to this hate.
Because they're comfortable doing it. Because they're okay with it. Because they haven't experienced the consequences of their own actions. That's why they're so comfortable, because they have been comfortable for so long. White supremacy, there hasn't been any ramifications. There hasn't been any pushback, really. There hasn't been any suffering in connection with these white supremacist beliefs. Anyway, let's finish the rest of this video. Now. Here we go.
Yes.
This is white supremacy in America, where history emboldens and reinforces their ideologies. It's always been white supremacy winning here. Colonialism, chattel slavery, fucking lynching, Jim Crow, Japanese internment camps, forcing children to integrate this racist ass country, while grown ass fucking white supremacists yelled the nastiest things to them. Now it's trans children being yelled at by these fucking grown ass maggots in the name of their Lord and Savior. It's alligator Alcatraz. Okay. These mass deportations, the cruelty of them. And they're the power behind it. Donald Trump, any Donald Trump type cannot exist as he is without them powering his existence. January 6th would have never happened if they were not the power behind it. They are the willing participants and beneficiaries of white supremacy. They are not victims. They are your oppressors. And if you show them some kind of kindness or softness, thinking that they're going to have some awakening, you just brought your death closer to your fucking neck. They're going to feed on you. They don't think anything's wrong with them, as evidenced by old boy. They think they're fine, and we need to adjust to them. And if we listen to these bimbos, that's exactly what you will do. And white supremacy reigns. Open your eyes. Keep your eyes open. Because that right over there is a bunch of bullshit.
She's completely correct.
Yeah, these two, the first two that we saw, they're literally trying to normalize Nazis and white supremacists and MAGAs by saying, well, it doesn't do any good if we punish them. They're going to punish themselves. Believe me, if they're going to punish themselves. No, they didn't. When have Nazis ever punished themselves? Show me in whatever fucking universe. Show me when that has happened. It hasn't.
No, and
they're not. They will never accept accountability. The Nuremberg trials was not about the Nazis punishing themselves. They had to be punished. Okay?
We need to hold them all accountable. They need to face the consequences of what they've done, because if this society is going to thrive and grow, it has no room for white supremacy at all.
Yeah. I mean, we're never going to... We need to get our heads out of our asses. Once we do that, once that happens, healing can begin. But not before that. Nope. There needs to be desperate consequences.
Of course. And this is where it starts for white people to be calling out the white supremacists, start doing the work that needs to be done to repair the damage that white people have caused.
Yeah, and I am just so sick and tired of, well, we don't want to feel guilty about it. Well, you know what? Maybe you should. Maybe we should. You know? Maybe a little guilt is good for us. Maybe then we'll start to make some changes. You know, what is this snowflakery? Oh, it's making me uncomfortable. It's reality. Face it, fuckwit. Anyway, we've gone into overtime. We want to thank you so much for joining us on the Skeptically Speaking show. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for sticking with us.
One last note. We will not be quiet so you can be comfortable.
Exactly. Silence is complicity.
Exactly.
Right? But with that being said, we want to thank you. By the way, if you would like to give to the well-read black girl, we're going to put her link in the description to her Give, Send, Go. That'll be in the description. If you'd like to support us, please follow us on all the social media apps. And we want to thank you so much for sticking with us and not tuning out. And we will see you on the next show.
Mm-hmm. Like, comment, subscribe, share.
Thank you so much. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.